Hello, everybody. Germ here, and I am mentally diseased. Thank you for joining me tonight. My last live stream was a disaster, and I didn't think I'd ever do it again. But I'm over it now, and I think I have everything fixed. So hopefully this is all working properly this time, and you can hear me okay. Let me know. When I was a witness, when I was growing up, the homeschool kids and the public school kids used to get together on holidays and throw anything but parties. We did like a Halloween is Stupid party and a Not Valentine's Day party, and we'd get together and do literally anything but what the holiday was for. So it was a nice thing that the moms did to make sure that none of us felt like we were missing out. I think we only got away with it for like a year or two before we got in trouble, but I digress. So today is the only holiday that witnesses observe, the memorial. It's one of those things that's kind of like a faux big deal. Like they make a big deal about it. They blitz the neighborhoods. Like, check this out. This just popped up on Reddit. And these people are actually showing videos to people through their doorbell cameras, trying to get them to go to the memorial. This is just bonkers to me. And it's weird because the memorial is actually really boring. Like, nobody really looks forward to it. You just pretend like you are, but it's stupid. And for those of us that are kind of fading, this is kind of a dark day, because if you're fading, oh, yep, you can hear me. Good. Okay. Thank you, guys. This is a dark day if you're fading and you're kind of a PMO, because this is the one event that you probably have to go to save face and keep your families. So if you're in that crowd, my thoughts and prayers are with you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's all have a drink for those people. For the rest of us, I thought we'd host an anything but party of my own. We are not going to talk about the memorial anymore. We are not going to pass around a plate full of dried up bread that we can't eat. We are going to partake, at least I am, but not wine. I don't like red wine. I'm having a Moscow Mule. So instead, we're going to talk about stuff witnesses don't want us to talk about. Just hang out, have a good time, chat it up. If this is the first memorial you're skipping, I send you my congratulations, and I hope you chat it up with others here and make some good friends. Let's check the chat real quick. I'm doing much better at this. The last time I got in trouble because I wasn't watching the chat, and I'm not gonna fall victim to that again. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about tonight was actually Bottlegate, because I miss Bottlegate. I was really sick when this broke, and I never got to make a video about it. Just pull up a quick little video to play in the background there. So I'm sure you guys all know about Bottlegate, governing body member buying a crap load of booze. Look at all of that. It amounted to, they looked up the bottle prices, $800. With tax, it's probably close to $1,000. And this is donated money from a person that signed a vow of poverty. So this blew up. And so rest assured, I thought it was glorious. A bit of epicaricacy there. As vindicating as it was to see, though, I knew that witnesses would keep their heads buried to it. Like, I fully expected them to pass it off as him getting things for a get-together or a Gilead graduation. And if that's the case, I just got to say, he is a terrible host. I mean, who buys all of the same kind of liquor for a party? Not everybody drinks whiskey. I mean, I sure don't. But what I did not expect witnesses to react or to say about this is that it's a hoax. Yes. They're saying it's a hoax. I'm sure that not everyone is saying this, but so we are all familiar with this gentleman. The video I pulled up here is actually from Watchtower Examination, a preview for a rebuttal that he is going to do soon. But he thinks it's a hoax.
You say you claim that he bought 12 bottles of whiskey, and that's a lie, according to the video anyways. But the video's photoshopped. I don't know what's in the video. You never see Tony Morris pushing that cart. And the fact that he only has one case in the cart when he loads it into his car. You never see Tony Morris pushing that cart in the cart when he loads it into his car. I don't know what's in the video. Come on.
I mean, this is a stretch. I mean, he seems to think that the apostates have photoshopped this, and it's a great big apostate conspiracy. In which case, I just got to say, I feel left out. Nobody asked me to take part in this photoshopping, and I'm pretty good at Photoshop. So, you know, apostates, if you're going to do something like this again, please let me know. I want to be part of it. And he posted another video today, a little more on the Anthony Morris video.
Written below the last 3 videos I made on Anthony Morris, that the video, liquor store video, is photoshopped. Well, I can't stop putting Tony Morris. I mean, there's no denying that Tony Morris was there in the liquor department. Now, whether or not that cart was his, with 13 bottles in it, they can't count, but there were 13 bottles in that cart.
Okay, so I guess we miscounted. Is that the problem here? I don't know. I had a different spot saved there, and it seemed to have missed it. And I'm not going to torture you guys with watching all of this, but I mean, that's a stretch. That's some conspiracy theory stuff right there. It blows my mind the amount of mental acrobats that they will do to prove the innocence of their governing body and the society, when at the actual Kingdom Hall, they are like vultures waiting for somebody to slip up and throw them under the bus like the moment that they can. It's a real double standard there. So, you know, those guys. I think we got a super chat here. I wanted to read that out from Reggiano Gray. PMOs should donate Bottle King gift cards. I agree. Next time I'm in New York, I'm definitely going to make a stop at Bottle King. Okay, so next up, that's all I have to say about Bottlegate. Sorry, I don't have more. So Watchtower is coming out with a new Watchtower article about persecution, July 2019. I wanted to talk about this a little bit. I'm going to say straight away that I will never do an in-depth Watchtower rebuttal. I'm not going to do it. I draw the line there. I really like making these videos, but when it comes down to studying the Watchtower and sitting through meetings, I'm not going to do it. Luckily, there are plenty of other activists that are happy to do that for your enjoyment. I am not one of them, but I will skim. Because this one I'm a little bit interested in, because there's some evidence here on how their information is presented in a really PC kind of way, and the way that it's filtered down to what the congregations actually interpret. So, it's split into 2 articles. The first one is Prepare Now for Persecution. And this one goes into kind of all of the really stupid things that they think that you should prepare for the inevitable persecution. That includes read the Bible daily, okay, pray regularly, regularly attend meetings, memorize scriptures, memorize songs, which kind of reminds me of the Listen, Obey, and Be Blessed video I just did with Bridget, where they were, encouraging the kids to, what did Bridget say? To participate in your own brainwashing or indoctrination. Be convinced of is dropped in here a couple times, like be convinced that the blessings of God's kingdom will come true. Be convinced that Jehovah loves you and that he will never abandon you. And it's so bizarre to read something like that, like be convinced, just like that. I'm just going to convince myself. They don't offer any evidence of either of the things that you're supposed to be convinced of, or really any feasible way of convincing yourself of it. I mean, you might as well, as a woman, be convinced that the drink you left behind with 8 sketchy dudes while you went to the bathroom is still going to be safe when you get back. I think not. It's just complete blind following. Absolutely none of this dreck will be helpful whatsoever in an actual preparing for persecution scenario. Actually, helpful preparation would be something like learn the law or know your rights. Here's where you can find this information and how to handle yourself. But no, they want you to just plug your ears and scream, "We're Jehovah's Witnesses," and and that's all you got to do. That's going to be real helpful in a police raid, I'll tell you. Thank you, Leopold, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. The second article is keep worshiping Jehovah when under ban. As the title implies, the entire purpose of this portion is to tell you to keep evangelizing no matter what happens, which is exactly what they're in trouble for in Russia, for doing this exact thing. And it glosses over some topics like, will a ban end our worship? Should I move to another land? How will we worship? This part was interesting to me, how they answer questions like how they'll continue worshiping, how they'll meet, and all of this. And they make themselves out like they're really, like they really know what they're doing. They've got this totally figured out. You're just going to have to listen to the elders and they'll tell you exactly what to do, which is interesting and fun, because there's a book coming out that tells all about exactly how prepared and how organized they really are in countries under ban. So stay tuned for that. That'll be fun. Hopefully it gets a lot of news. That's Leaving the Witness by Amber Skora, I believe. It's coming out in July. So the main point I wanted to highlight here is, should I move to another land? And I was actually kind of surprised and almost impressed at first, because it says basically that to leave it up to the individual whether or not they move to another land, and we should not judge others for the decision that they make. I was really surprised about that, but then I remembered that the article is called Keep Worshipping Under Ban, and I'm reminded of how bullshit their whole conscience matter policy really is. Personal anecdote. I was at a Kingdom Hall in Kansas, and there was a tornado during this Kingdom Hall, and it was hailing really hard outside. Tornado sirens are going off. Like, you couldn't hear anything that was going up on that stage. You couldn't hear anything. So they actually paused the meeting to discuss canceling it so people could get someplace safe. And I was real excited. I'm like, gosh, we're gonna get out of this meeting. And then this old hag of an elderette raises her hand, and she's like, I don't think there's any place safer than Jehovah's home in a situation like this. If you're going to die in here, you're going to die out there too. Besides, he'll protect us. If anything happens, we'll just walk out into paradise. I think if anyone leaves right now, they're just displaying a lack of faith in Jehovah. Bitch, I have never been so mad at a person in my entire life. I was just livid. And do you think anybody left after she said that? No, nobody left. The kids were sitting there crying. Moms are all uncomfortable because they want to go. And you knew that if you so much as looked at that door, you would be labeled as bad association. So we all just sat there and waited out the storm and hoped we wouldn't get blown away in a tornado, which we didn't. And then everybody thanked her after the meeting for encouraging them and making them feel so strong. But that's Watchtower prints this PC kind of stuff so that if it's ever brought up, they can go back and say, well, we never said that. They put the cart in front of the horse, or ran ahead of the chariot, or whatever they like to say when they try to wash their hands out of their fear-mongering like this. But anyone who's actually been in the congregation knows how it is, and Watchtower knows it too. They rely on it. Super chat from Cass D, the non-apostate apostate. I have to cut out for an appointment, but wanted to tell you the presentation looks fantastic. I'll catch up later tonight. You do great work. Thank you very much, Cass. I appreciate that. Okay, so this is a kind of a nice segue here, this article, into something else I wanted to talk about. A viewer asked me to do a video on a midweek meeting a few weeks ago, and I don't remember her name. Let me see if I can find her. I remember that her profile picture is of her slamming a mug of beer the size of her head, and I think it's the most badass thing I have ever seen. Let's see. All right, here she is. Veronica Vanderkook. Look at this picture, you guys. Get it, Khaleesi. Ah, way to go. So she wanted me to tackle this video, and again, I'm not going to watch the whole meeting, but there is a point here that is worth watching.
The Sanderson also said, protect our spiritual food. That means our Bibles and our publications. Are you finding hiding places for your literature now? Doesn't matter if it's printed or electronic format. The counsel from the governing body was to find those places right now.
So he's basically saying what that Watchtower article is already saying, but he's saying it with a much more dramatic demeanor. You can hear, if a pin dropped in that Kingdom Hall when he says that, you would hear it. It's much different. The delivery is much different, and it's just so, it's crazy talk. It's literally crazy talk. Hiding your literature, if you're looking at going under persecution, I feel like your literature should be a last resort. I mean, have you ever tried to move a bunch of books? It's a pain in the ass. And if you're like running for the hills, you're not going to be lugging boxes full of books behind you. You're going to want to have stashes full of money or an escape plan or somewhere to go. Excuse me. So even by their own doctrine, this is ridiculous advice. Even if what they say is going to happen, this is terrible advice. Save money. I mean, who cares about your books? I mean, if you've already memorized your scriptures and memorized your songs, you should be fine, right? That's what the previous article said. So it starts from this Watchtower articles. It goes down to the talks like this, and then the way the congregation actually interprets it. I found there was an article on Reddit, or a post on Reddit, about a story that witnesses are passing around. It's kind of a familiar story. I feel like I've heard this before. But the story is basically, it's about a sister who missed meetings regularly. One day, she finally goes to a meeting, and the doors are locked. She asks to be let in. They said they can't tell her any info about the congregation. She goes home, calls, and asks for info about her congregation. The brothers tell her, we cannot give any info about the congregation. The story ends with them saying that the Great Tribulation started, and this is why you needed to be at every meeting. So, it ends up, all of this information ends up being passed around by people in the congregations like this. These rumors and these stories that are supposed to, literally strike fear into you over missing meetings. What are you going to do if your wife is pregnant and you're going to have a baby? Oh, but it's Sunday meeting. What are you going to do? Or you have to work, or there's a family emergency. But, I guarantee after hearing this story, you're going to, go deliver your baby and be thinking about this the whole time. It's just, it's ridiculous. And, they've been saying the same kind of crap for years. And I know that I heard it when I was a witness, but the further I get away from it, the scarier it is to hear it. It's, you hear stuff like this, and you hear that news story about the witness family that broke into their neighbor's house butt naked, kidnapped their neighbors, and ran off because they thought Armageddon was coming and they wanted to save their neighbors. This stuff is no joke. And, sometimes I wonder sometimes if one day we're going to look up and all the witnesses disappeared off the map. I mean, I hope not. I know that seems overblown, but the farther away I get, the more likely a drastic situation seems likely the way they ramp this up. So, I think I got another super chat here. Let's see. I'm going to butcher your name. I'm sorry. Milana Koi? That's the best I got. It says, thanks for all the work you were doing, Jerem. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. And the chat's really popping. Thank you, guys. I'm so excited that you're all here. Okay, next thing that I wanted to talk about is this is I mean, this isn't really a big deal, but I was kind of blown away when I saw it. It was from a Twitter post from Gabby Stumbled Angel, Lily Plum 2, and it's a video from an airport in Asia. And check these guys out. You don't need the sound, but look at them. They are posted in a kiosk at an airport, and they look like real airport employees. Look at those blue scarves matching their logo. Caleb and Sophia. I mean, I just, this is crazy to me. And it seems like a huge waste of money. Like, you obviously had to spend money to, you're paying for the space there. And I don't understand what kind of, like, what do you think is going to come out of an airport? I mean, people in airports are infuriatingly confused to begin with. The only thing I can think of anybody going up to them to say is something like, "Excuse me, I paid for VIP and business class, but that woman over there said I have to pay to check my bag." Like, I don't, that's what conversations at airport kiosks are like. I don't understand. So that's really all I wanted to say about that. I just thought it was weird, and I wanted to share it with you all. And I've actually searched on Google for this, and there's a lot of pictures of witnesses at kiosks at airports. And I travel a lot, and I've never seen this. Maybe, I mean, granted, I travel primarily in the United States, so maybe this is just a big thing in other countries. I don't know, but I don't know, but I'm a little jealous. That's probably why I'm so bitter, because I would have loved to just sit in an airport instead of go door to door. Okay, let me check something. Stand by. I seem to have a troll. Where's do? Trying to find Bridget's name. Bridget, you're getting a wrench, and I'm going to make you stamp out the buttholes if any of them come up. You got a wrench. You're a moderator now. Congratulations, Bridget Pfister. This is what happens when you collaborate with me. You get privileges. Okay. So, let's see. What have I got next? Notre Dame. I wanted to talk about Notre Dame a little bit. So, y'all heard the news. Great Catholic Church went up in flames. And it's been big news. I know it's a couple days back, but I'm no friend to the Catholic Church at all. None whatsoever. If there is any lingering brainwashing I have from the witnesses, it is my fear of Catholics. Like, that's number one. I still get chills down my spine when I hear the word Christendom. And I immediately picture big spooky cathedrals and dead-eyed looking popes spilling wine and fires and oh my gosh. But I think everything about the Catholics is terrifying. However, I love to be scared. So as a fan of both Gothic horror and medieval architecture and Victor Hugo, Notre Dame de Paris, a wonderful book, the loss of Notre Dame is nothing to scoff at. So however messed up the church may be, it's still a devastating loss of history and architecture from a time when things like that shouldn't have been possible, let alone still standing today. I don't think we should be throwing tons of money into rebuilding it. I mean, the damage is already done and there's a lot more pressing things to do, but you know, that is that. I had a bunch of other notes here that I'm going to skip over because I've changed my mind about whether or not I'm going to say them. But when I was watching Notre Dame up in flames, I couldn't help but be reminded of my father and a lot of other witnesses and the way that they reacted to the towers falling in New York. And I did a vlog about that recently when I visited New York, so that vindication they feel in tragedy is still fresh on my mind. when I was thinking that, the first thing that I checked was Twitter to see if any witnesses were saying anything crazy. And the first thing I saw was this guy, Jimmy Sticks. Jimmy Sticks. He was basically copy-pasting this tweet to anybody that said anything about Notre Dame. He said, "This is going to happen more and more, and the end result is seen here. Jehovah God's appointed time of the end is here, and this is what will happen sooner than you think." And then he links to, some scary Great Tribulation article. So, they're excited. They're just capitalizing on it. And there was another one on Facebook from Mercelin America. She said, "Today's events in Paris show us that we are one step closer to Armageddon," whatever that is. "Jehovah hates false religion and will bring all of it to destruction. The Catholic Church has been misleading people for centuries. Jehovah's anger is upon them. Someday soon the entire world will know that the one God's name is Jehovah and Jehovah only, and that we are his witnesses, the one true religion, Jehovah's Witnesses." You witnesses. They really get off on tragedy and seize anything they can to drive that agenda. I think, and this post right here was actually deleted. She deleted this, and now she has a new post where she actually apologized here for her post. She said she just loves Jehovah and hates what he hates. He hates false religion. She's excited for the new system, so maybe got a little ahead of myself. Maybe this is the beginning of Armageddon, or maybe not. Either way, I didn't mean to draw attention from the apostates or bring reproach on Jehovah. And there were some interesting comments in here. Most of them are from apostates, but you can see it here. You don't have to apologize for anything for saying for the truth about false religion. The truth about them did not originate from you. So, it's not just a couple people. This is really what they think about this sort of stuff. And I think this is the reaction. You're going to get one of two reactions from witnesses about Notre Dame. It's either going to be like really zealous from these kind of like almost sort of psychopathic members that are just absolutely crazy, or you're going to see complete silence. And to me, I think the silence is almost worse, because at least the psychopaths are being honest. They're not, the ones that are being quiet about it. Those are the silent killers, because they still feel the same kind of thing, but you'll never know it. A voice full of honey, just dripping full of honey. But they're liars. Let's see. The other thing too is even if they do care about it, there's also the factor that maybe they're not saying anything because they're scared to say anything. I see that a lot. They're afraid that if they said anything in support of it, that they would be immediately associated with false religion by their congregation. And I don't see how that doesn't raise flags for them, that you're scared, that you're cornered into silence, that you're afraid to say anything because, of just stating an opinion about a church. You can't even state an opinion about a fire. It's really sad to me. But I mean, I've always had trouble keeping my mouth shut to begin with. So I don't know. If they really do care, I wish that they would consider that what happened in France is what they're looking forward to happening in the entire world. I mean, in paradise, there won't be a Notre Dame anyway there. There won't be any significant historical landmarks or any kind of history whatsoever. It's all going to burn up. They're going to clean up the scraps. They're going to dispose of the bodies. I think that part of the doctrine, if I remember correctly, is that you won't even remember this world after you've been in paradise so long. So, I mean, what are you going to remember then, if not, centuries of human history, passing fruit around? I mean, isn't that all that paradise is passing fruit around? I don't know. Let's see. Leopold II said that he's a stonemason. He loved that building. Smurf Girl says the text is so tiny. I'm on pain meds and I can't see it clearly. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I can't make it better. Or I'll try and make it bigger the next time. William Sawyer says, if Toni Morris was to come out of seclusion, he would say the Notre Dame fire was spectacular. I agree. And he would find some way to segue that into talk about human hot dogs. Lots of watermelon in paradise. Yes, my mango bango. Lots of watermelon. So I think I have only one more thing that I wanted to talk about. That's not really, this is more of a guilty pleasure for me than it is witness related, but it is sort of religious related. So this will be my last thing. It's, my guilty pleasure is wedding shaming blogs. I love them. I love bridezillas. I think it's the most hilarious thing. So I just wanted to share this as a last thing. I hope you get a laugh out of it too. So the story is basically that she's having a wedding, throwing a bachelorette party. This girl wasn't invited and kept, demanding to know why she wasn't invited. They finally invited her, and they're having a bachelorette party in Vegas. And so she finally gets invited, and she emails all of them a list of rules for the bachelorette party. So I'm going to read the list of rules to you. Hi all, I'm really excited for our upcoming trip to Vegas. I think it'll be such a good time and we'll all finally get to bond. I know Vegas is known as Sin City, but despite this, I still have to uphold the moral code our Father inscribed in my heart. Due to this, I have some ground rules that I'd like everyone to follow. These will not only help me remain aligned with the church, but also keep us all out of trouble. Sunday the 12th, I have found an appropriate church and contacted the pastor, explaining that we're from out of town, but we'd like to attend services. Sunday at 7:15 a.m. We'll be Ubering to the church. Can you imagine waking up at 7:15 a.m. in Vegas? No, thank you. I can't wait to share God with all of you. I think it'll be a nice way to cleanse us of our sins from that week. Number 2, in the hotel room, no hard liquor. I don't want people getting inebriated and falling from the balcony. Also, as this is my first time being of age in an environment of prevalent drinking, I don't want to be tempted by these foul drinks. I do. I'm not sure how I'll react to rum or tequila or vodka. I like the quotation marks there, like she's suspicious of what it actually is. And I'd like to test these in more controlled environments. Please stick to light beers and red wines. Like, are you dropping acid? It's just vodka. There will be no sex taking place in our hotel rooms anywhere on the suite. As none of us have committed ourselves to husbands yet, there's no need to have premarital sex. Please don't invite random men back to the suite. I think it's actually said suite. I know that, but every time I see it, I say suit. I do not need to see a need for them to be there or know why they are staying. I don't want to be robbed. Please Venmo me $50 each, as I will be buying groceries for the hotel room. The last thing we need is to be famished in that desert heat. Absolutely, under no circumstances, no drugs. Half of you currently work in positions that require you have to have security clearances, and I do not want you to be tempted by these substances. Blah, 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 blah. This is Christian church culture perfectly. This could have been written by a witness. It's just so controlling. She wasn't even invited in the first place and then lays out all these rules. So I thought that was funny. I hope that you did too. Sorry if it's a little bit off topic, but I just wanted to share that. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you all so much for coming. I know that I only got to skim the chats while I was talking here, but I'll go through and read them a bit later. So I hope you have a wonderful night. Go do something that has nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses now. You've earned it. You are no longer one of them. Enjoy your memorial-free weekend. Take care.